She vanished without a trace, no phone calls, no bank activity, no goodbye. For months, Shannon Medil's family searched, hoping she was still alive, while the man closest to her helped lead the search. Her husband stood beside them, comforted them, and knew the truth the entire time. What really happened inside that house? How did love turn into silence and betrayal? Stay with us as we uncover the disturbing truth behind Shannon Medil's disappearance and the confession no one saw coming. If you're new here, subscribe now for true crime stories told with facts, respect, and depth. In November 2014, Shannon Medil was living in Calgary, Alberta, balancing her marriage, her creative ambitions, and a career she had worked years to build. Originally from Edmonton, Shannon was a trained actress and performer who had spent most of her adult life auditioning, writing, and taking any opportunity that moved her closer to steady work in film and theater. She was married to Joshua Medil, and from the outside, their relationship appeared stable, even supportive. On the evening Shannon disappeared, she was supposed to meet her brother Brett to celebrate landing a promising acting role. It was an important moment for her, one she had talked about with excitement. But when Brett arrived at the theater, Shannon never showed. At first, he assumed she was delayed by work or rehearsal. As the minutes stretched into hours, concern replaced patience. Brett tried calling her phone repeatedly. Every call went unanswered. Text messages weren't delivered. By the time he left, a sense of unease followed him home. The next morning, with still no response, the family's worry intensified. Shannon's parents were contacted, and they too had heard nothing from her, something that was deeply out of character. Shannon was reliable and close with her family. She checked in often and never disappeared without explanation. As hours turned into a full day, reasonable explanations stopped making sense. Her mother tried to believe Shannon had simply crashed after a long night or been caught up unexpectedly. But the silence felt wrong. Later that day, Shannon's family, including her husband Joshua, went to police. They explained she was supposed to travel between cities and feared she may have been hurt. Officers initially hesitated, reminding them that adults can choose to be unreachable. But the family persisted, insisting something was wrong. By the end of that first day, Shannon Medil was officially missing, and the calm certainty that she would simply turn up was already beginning to fade. As the search for Shannon Medil began, investigators quickly noticed troubling patterns. There was no activity on her bank cards, no purchases, no withdrawals. Her phone remained silent. Even more unsettling was her absence online. Shannon regularly updated her blog and social media, sharing details about auditions, performances, and daily life. Now, everything had stopped abruptly. Days passed with no confirmed sightings. Police checked hospitals, shelters, and transit hubs, but nothing surfaced. Friends and family organized their own searches, retracing routes Shannon might have taken and reaching out to anyone who may have seen her. Each effort ended the same way: no answers. Then, Joshua told police he had found Shannon's phone inside their home, tucked into the pocket of a pair of pants. The discovery raised immediate questions. If Shannon had vanished while traveling, how had her phone ended up back at home? Shortly after that, Joshua reported finding Shannon's car parked not far from their house. There were no signs of forced entry, no obvious struggle inside the vehicle. The discovery seemed helpful on the surface, but they only deepened the mystery. Investigators documented everything carefully, unsure what it meant yet. Nearly 2 weeks into the search, a disturbing development shook the case. Photos of a red-haired woman were found taped to trees in Big Creek Park, a large nature reserve. The resemblance to Shannon was strong enough to alarm both police and her family. Fearing a possible message from an abductor, Authorities launched an intensive search of the area. For 2 days, officers, volunteers, dogs, and helicopters scoured the park. Shannon's loved ones joined in, clinging to the hope she was alive. But nothing was found. Soon after, police learned the photos were part of a student art project, unrelated to the case. The revelation crushed what little hope had grown. The search ended where it began, with silence, uncertainty, and a family running out of explanations. By early 2015, investigators quietly began preparing for the possibility that Shannon Medil had not vanished voluntarily. Months had passed without a single confirmed trace. No financial activity, no travel records, no contact with friends or family. The idea that she had simply walked away from her life no longer held up. Detective Christine White was assigned to the case, bringing years of homicide experience. She approached the investigation methodically, starting with the people closest to Shannon. Statistically, answers often lie there. Joshua Medil remained cooperative. He participated in searches, allowed police to inspect the home multiple times, and stayed close to Shannon's family. On the surface, nothing about his behavior screamed guilt, but as Detective White reviewed timelines and statements, small inconsistencies emerged. Joshua claimed he had found Shannon's phone and car by chance. Yet digital records showed Shannon's phone had briefly pinged in an alley after her last known activity before Joshua said he found it at home. That contradiction mattered. Investigators also learned more about the couple's relationship. Shannon and Joshua had an open marriage, an arrangement that reportedly caused tension. Friends said Shannon had recently expressed unhappiness and wanted to end the arrangement. She was considering major changes, including moving cities and separating emotionally from Joshua. Despite these red flags, police lacked physical evidence. Warrants were difficult to obtain. Without a body or clear crime scene, suspicion alone wasn't enough. Still, Detective White trusted her instincts. She continued building the case quietly, waiting for the moment when enough pieces would align. By June 2015, that moment finally arrived. Search warrants were approved, allowing police to seize Joshua's phone and conduct another detailed search of the property. What officers expected was resistance, denial, or silence. What they got instead was a confession. On June 2, 2015, police arrived at Joshua Medil's home to execute search warrants. When they knocked, Joshua delayed opening the door. Moments later, when he finally emerged, he was visibly distraught. Without prompting, he told officers he had killed his wife inside the home. Officers noticed blood and signs Joshua had attempted to harm himself. Paramedics were called, and once he was stabilized, he was taken into custody and later evaluated. Search teams immediately began combing the property. Before the day ended, Shannon Medil's body was discovered buried in the backyard, hidden beneath debris. The discovery confirmed what investigators had feared for months. During questioning, Joshua admitted to killing Shannon during an argument. He described escalating tension over his infidelity and Shannon's desire to leave the marriage. According to his statement, the confrontation turned physical, and he strangled her in a moment of rage. After realizing she was dead, Joshua said he panicked. Instead of calling for help, he hid her body, first storing it and later burying it once the ground softened. For months, he continued living in the home, participating in searches and comforting Shannon's family, all while knowing where she was. Forensic analysis confirmed Shannon died from strangulation. The evidence matched key parts of Joshua's confession. The revelation devastated Shannon's family. The man they trusted, the person who stood beside them during their darkest days, had been responsible all along. What made the betrayal even harder was how long it lasted. For nearly 8 months, Joshua maintained the facade of a grieving husband while hiding the truth beneath their own backyard. Joshua Medil was charged with second-degree murder. In court proceedings that followed, he admitted to killing Shannon but argued it was not premeditated. Prosecutors detailed months of deception, concealment, and emotional manipulation. Shannon's family attended every hearing. They listened as Joshua's actions were dissected in public, forced to relive their loss again and again. For them, the pain wasn't only about how Shannon died, but about how long they were lied to afterward. In the end, Joshua was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 10 years. The ruling angered Shannon's loved ones, who believed his calculated behavior deserved harsher consequences. They worried about the idea that he could one day walk free. Shannon Medil is remembered as a driven artist, a loving sister and daughter, and a woman who deserved a future she never got the chance to live. Her story stands as a reminder that danger doesn't always come from strangers, and that appearances can be deeply deceiving. For her family, justice will never bring closure, only accountability. And for the rest of us, her case leaves a chilling question behind: how well can you ever truly know the person beside you? Shannon Medil didn't just lose her life. She lost her future, the roles she worked for, the dreams she fought to achieve, the trust she placed in the person who promised to protect her for months. Her family lived in unbearable uncertainty, searching for answers while standing next to the man who already had them. There is no sentence that can undo that betrayal. No verdict that can restore what was taken. Shannon's story is a reminder that violence often hides behind familiarity, and that justice, when it finally arrives, is never enough to heal the loss. If stories like Shannon's matter to you, if you believe these voices deserve to be heard, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We share true crime documentaries regularly, honoring victims by telling their stories truthfully and responsibly. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, stay safe,